All right. Wow, what an intro. I just spent like 2 minutes trying to adjust my camera. Hello, my name is Katie. I'm a third grade teacher in the state of Florida. And in this video today, I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite books that I use in my third grade classroom. All right, I'm already changing what I said in the intro. I'm going to share my favorite books that I'm using in my third grade classroom currently, but I also used to teach first grade, so I will have some books in here that I enjoyed using with my first graders as well. So let's just throw that out there. I've got my handy dandy computer here where I already have a list of books and read alouds that I wanted to share with you guys. And they fall into like 3 different categories. The first category is chapter books that I love, that I have read with my class or that I have read. The second category is going to be mentor texts. So that's any kind of picture book read aloud that I use to teach a specific skill or that I just enjoy reading out loud to my class to have discussions with. And then my third category is the smallest one, but it is new discoveries. So books that I've read this year that I'm like, wow, that one's so good. And I'd love to incorporate it next year. So without further ado, we're going to get started going through this list because it's kind of long. I will also share that all of these books are linked in my Amazon storefront, and the link for my Amazon is in the description below. I should have it separated, like I think I have a chapter books and a books we love category, so you can kind of go through and find some of these books there to get for your classroom. So the first category is chapter books. One chapter book that I love to use with my class is called Third Grade Angels for obvious reasons because I teach third grade. So this is actually the one I use at the beginning of the school year. Got it from my partner teacher. She was like, this book is great. You should read it at the beginning of the year. And my kids love it. So it's all about a boy who's starting third grade and his teacher calls them all third grade angels and they have to work to earn their halo. It's a great story. Not very long, good chapter book. Next one that I have on the list is The Chocolate Touch. It's a nice, just kind of short read aloud. It's silly. It's based off of the myth or folktale about Midas, King Midas and the Golden Touch, which works out great because we teach myths and folktales at the beginning of the year. And so we read The Chocolate Touch as a read aloud this year. And then when we got to like folktales, I used King Midas and they were able to make great text-to-text connections. So that's one reason I love to read that one. I have read The BFG with my class last year and this year by Roald Dahl. I personally like that one because my third grade teacher read The BFG when I was in third grade, and it sticks out as like my favorite read aloud from elementary school because it's a little creepy talking about the giants and all this stuff, but it just had me hooked when I was in third grade, so I enjoy reading it with my classes. I will say, like, use your discretion on if you think your class would enjoy it because, I mean, it is a little bit spooky in a way. I mean, man-eating giants, and that's just kind of Roald Dahl for you. His books are a little out there, but I read it around Halloween time and just kind of like play it up, and it's silly for the kids. Next is Charlotte's Web. We did that one as a novel study this year. I'll link above in the, like, whatever these are called, the cards, because I have a vlog where I talk about our Charlotte's Web novel study, and my class just loved it this year. Tears were shed, hearts were warm and fuzzy. Such a great one. The Tale of Despero. This one has quickly become like my new favorite. It's kind of interesting. I think my class this year liked it, but I think last year's class liked The Tale of Despero even more. I think my class last year was more down for like the serious topics. This year, I think my class is liking like the lighthearted things. And I think Despero is kind of like a serious book, but it's really good and really engaging. And I love how it's by Kate DiCamillo, and I love how she has the stories like weave together. So you read it from Despero's perspective, then the rat's perspective, and the servant girl's perspective, and how they all kind of collide together. So fun. There's also a movie for that, and my students loved watching it for the AR party. I have Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, just kind of a fun. After we finished Despero, we needed something short and lighthearted. They love that one. Such a good one. Frederick Douglass Fights for Freedom. I added this one to my list because it was on my district pacing guide, and it is a novel version, like a novel biography of Frederick Douglass's life, and my kids loved it. Loved it. They were so engaged, like so connected with the text, and it teaches a lot of sensitive topics about like slavery and equal rights and all of those things. So it was perfect for Black History Month, but to put his biography in a narrative form, like kept the kids just engaged and hooked in a way that just like a regular informational biography wouldn't quite be the same. And then we did read the regular informational biography, and they had so much background knowledge about the concepts already that I think they got more out of the text. So that's a Scholastic one, Frederick Douglass Fights for Freedom. Taking a sip of bubbly. I'm filming this at the end of a school day, so I'm a little tired of talking, but it's fine. Next I have is Wonder. Wonder is such a good book. That's like on my personal all-time favorite book list. Again, I don't know if my class this year is enjoying it as much as they did last year because it's just some of those like serious topics. It's a little longer, and we're about, I don't know, we're kind of halfway through, and I'm thinking like this might have been more than what this class could handle, if that makes sense. But it's okay. Like now I've seen a class that's really enjoyed it and a class that's kind of like, maybe I should have just gone with something a little bit just random and lighthearted for them, but it's all right. We're going to make it through. Another one that I have written down is The Lemonade War. This one might have been a better fit for my class this year. My class last year loved it. It was lighthearted, teaches some economics concepts. So if you teach economics, and then I've got 4th Grade Rats, which is the sequel to 3rd Grade Angels. So I like to start the year with 3rd Grade Angels and end the year with 4th Grade Rats. So when we finish Wonder, we're going to be reading 4th Grade Rats just to like tie a bow on the end of the year and move on. But we're going to have to start cranking through Wonder, like cranking it, and I mean it. A couple others that I haven't read, or I have. The first one is The One and Only Ivan. I have read it, but I have not read it with my class, but it is a great chapter book to read aloud. Because of Winn-Dixie, again, I have read it, but I have not used it as a class read aloud. My co-teacher has, and she loves it. And then Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. Again, this is one that my partner teacher over here has read and loves doing as a read aloud with her class. I read it last summer just for me to read it because I wanted to read some more options. And I didn't read it with my class this year. I think it would have gone over their heads, honestly. But her class is loving it, and it was really fun. So you should check that one out. If not for your class, just to read it for yourself. And then Strangeville School is Totally Normal. So the state of Florida has a list of books that are called Sunshine State books to encourage kids to like read different chapter books. And this was one of them. And I think my class really enjoyed it. It's a little wacky, but they liked the wackiness of it all. So that one was really good. And that concludes my chapter book section. If you have any chapter books you love to read with your class, please drop them in the comments and let's build that list up. And again, these are not all the chapter books that I've ever read, you know, like all the kids' books that I've ever read, but these are ones that just stand out to me that I enjoyed using. Category 2 is mentor text. Again, these are books that I use to teach a skill or to foster some kind of discussion or collaboration in my classroom. A lot of them I've shared throughout my vlogs. They're up here on the cabinet. So you'll hear a lot of those mentioned, and I'll try to tell you what I teach with them to the best of my ability. So the first one is I Promise. This one's by LeBron James. I like using this one at the beginning of the year when I'm teaching classroom expectations. Tops and Bottoms is a great book that I use to teach theme, because the theme is like, don't be lazy, work hard, things like that. So it was great to introduce theme with. I have The Magical Yet. I read this one for the first time this year, and it was perfect for the beginning of the year because we do a lot of baseline testing. So kind of explaining like you're going to be taking a test and you won't know all the answers, and that's okay because it's just things that you haven't learned yet. And we did a fun craftivity with it. And so it was really, really fun to just kind of get them in the zone. And then when we were doing the test, I was like, it's okay because this is just something you haven't learned yet. And so it was a good reminder for them. Jabari Jumps. I use this one with my house meetings because I am the house of Valor, which is courage in Spanish. And Jabari Jumps is a great book that goes over like the theme of being courageous. So I've used that one a lot. Along with Alma and the Worry Stone. This one is written by a teacher. And again, it talks about like things that you can do when you're worried or when you're nervous. So it's perfect for my house meeting things. Knuffle Bunny. I love Knuffle Bunny by Mo Willems. So good. There's 3 of them. I love all 3 of them. But the first one is really good actually for teaching inference. And I discovered this when I taught 1st grade because in the story, the little girl, I'm pretty sure her name is Trixie, uses a lot of like baby speak. She's like, abble, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. And so you don't really know what she's saying, but you can use clues in the text to help you figure out. Like the illustrations give you clues and her actions give you clues. So we're inferring what she's trying to say. And it was great when I did inference with 1st grade because that's a hard topic, a hard like concept for them to grasp. But I'm like, how do you know that she wants her Nuffle Bunny and she's like worried because she left it behind? And they're like, well, because look, she's pointing. And I'm like, okay, so you're inferring, you're using what you see in the picture to infer or to figure out like what Trixie was saying, even though it doesn't tell us like the actual message she was trying to say. We're inferring it from different things that we know about the story and from what we know about like our childhood, right? Next one, I have Creepy Carrots. I use that one to do descriptive language. It's so fun. I've used that one for like the last 3 or 4 years. Love Creepy Carrots. What Should Danny Do and What Should Darla Do are a fun choose your own ending type of series where you get to a page and they have to make a choice and the kids get to make the choice and then it changes how the story ends. So I use that at the beginning of the year when I'm setting expectations and teaching them how to make good choices. I Want to Iguana was a great one for author's claim because the kid writing all the letters in the story wants an iguana and he's writing all these letters to try to persuade his mom. So if you're doing persuasive writing or author's claim, that's a good one. Henry's Freedom Box was one that I used this year. And I used that one to teach, what did I teach? Oh, analyzing characters. So talking about how a character changed from the beginning of the text to the end of the text. So when Henry was a child, what was he like versus when he was an adult? And he kind of goes on a roller coaster where he's like he's like a child. He goes through the middle where he's really sad and upset because of, again, sensitive topics like slavery. But then the end, when he gets his freedom, it's kind of like comparing and contrasting his emotions and what he felt during that experience. So it was great for analyzing characters and like character development. And then I have Sweet Clara and the Freedom Quilt, which again is another great one for Black History Month. Topics like slavery and things that are taught in a real and raw way. And I used it to introduce plot or to cover plot and setting and characters. Let me double check and see if there's any more up here that I'm like, ooh, that one I need to share. As far as like ones that jump out at me being like, oh yes, we have to share that one. Of course, there's so many other books and there's more on my Amazon storefront that I've linked that I love. My last category is new discoveries. So 3 that I've read this year that I've enjoyed. I did the Read Across the Regions challenge for Read Across America from Novel Effect. And there were 3 books that I loved reading with Novel Effect that I had never read before that I shared with my class because we were reading across the regions. One of them is Extra Yarn. The book was so cute. So cute. I'm going to find a way to use it next year. Beyond just like, I mean, I enjoy just reading it, or I might just read it with my class. Nerdy Birdie. So cute. It's all about like getting along with others and how not everybody has the same interests, and that's okay, but not to put each other down based on what you like. And then Lady Pancake and Sir French Toast, which there's a long series of those, but it was really fun to read, just kind of a fun read aloud that was really fun with Novel Effect. Obviously, I have tons and tons of books. I can't really show you my bookshelf because it's way over there, but it is full of tons of books that are now approved from the State of Florida Library database. Yay. Only took a year. We started that process last year. But I have so many books on my shelf that I've read. I've read way more than that with my class, and I try to share them in all my vlogs. So if you're interested in hearing more about what I'm doing in my classroom, like day to day, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because I do try to share read alouds often that I'm reading with my class. Also, make sure you check out my Amazon storefront because I have a lot of books that I have in my classroom library linked there. And then comment like your top 3 read alouds that you use with your class, because I would love for this video to be just a reference so anybody who's here watching this video can also go scroll through the comments and see what read alouds you've enjoyed reading with your class. I know this video wasn't like super lengthy, but it was just kind of a practical one that I wanted to share, just to kind of share some of the things that I enjoy reading and to hear back from you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.